or I look at these giants around me. But I work with 6 amazing men who are so full of talent and brilliance, and it's really difficult for me not to compare myself to that. And I really had to come to a place where I needed to accept who I am, where I am, what I have to offer the world, and it's different than what they have to offer the world, right? And that's where each and every one of us are. And so when we came to look at empowered success, we were so excited about providing this roadmap so that we took out the guesswork. You didn't have to try to figure out, how do I teach people how to talk to people? How do I teach how to do a wellness consult? How do I do this? We made that simple. But as we went through that process, we realized there was one piece that was missing. And we had to teach people to stop the comparison game, because comparison is truly the thief of joy, isn't it? And to stop doing the things that I have done for so many years, and to truly embrace who we are. So the second part of this quote is that it is necessary for us to be the very best versions of ourselves we can be, right? And to truly love where we're at, to truly love who we are. So I've studied the life of a lot of great leaders. And one that I was reading about on the plane as I came out here was Napoleon. So as Napoleon led his French army, they weren't the largest army by far, but yet they were extremely successful. As you read about Napoleon's life, the thing that made him a great leader is that he was willing to be out on the front lines with the people. He was setting the sights for the cannon when the one that had been doing that before had gone down. And he said, I will put myself in the line of fire. I will be there with you. And he really came to understand what his men needed to make sure that they were well fed and well taken care of, to meet them where they were at. And at that point in time, they were willing to follow him anywhere. And I think as leaders, we need to understand that. We have to be willing to do those things that we're asking of our team members. That we can't just tell them, you need to go out and connect with people. You need to go out and have classes. You need to do these things. We as leaders need to continue to do those things. And I hope that I can continue to be locked arms with you, doing exactly the same things that you're doing, because I love this work. And as Dave and I were over here talking, I had him actually stand up from his chair. I said, Dave, look at this. Look at this body of people. The amount of people who are here today are larger than most direct-selling companies' conventions. And this is only half of our leadership retreat, right? And Dave looked at me and he said, this is a force that will not be stopped. So back in January, I was able to go with my team to Chicago. And the reason we went to Chicago was to become certified strengths coaches, right? So we're missing 2 of my team members. We're missing Shelly and Carolee here. But the things that we were able to learn as we sat through class for 5 days. You have to understand, Jessica was one of our instructors, which is why we wanted her to come and be with you. We were so impressed with her knowledge base. And the first thing I did as I got into the class, apparently they had assigned seating. This is the first event I had been to in I don't know how many years where I wasn't actually in charge of the event. I didn't know how to respond. So they had me sitting, right, in a seat, classroom style, and I didn't like where I was sitting. So I moved, right, my stuff, and I put it where I wanted to be seated with my teammates, right? And had Jessica come up to me, she said, excuse me, ma'am, we have assigned seating here, and that's where we wanted you to sit. And I said, well, this isn't where I'm going to sit today. And she knew at that moment, this is an interesting woman. I need to learn more about her, right? It's kind of, who does she think she is? So I was very humbled through the course of sitting through class for 5 days, but I learned so much. So as I sat with Jeremy yesterday, he said, are you going to share your strengths with the team? And it wasn't something I was planning to share, but upon his encouragement, I'm going to share with you my top 5 strengths. So my top 5 are belief, maximizer, futuristic, arranger, and connectedness. And let me tell you just a little bit about those 5 strengths. And there's no 5 strengths that are better than any other, although Dave Sterling somehow thinks that they are, and he is too afraid to take his test. Oh my God. Because he's afraid that my strengths will be better than his, right? He said it's like 12-year-olds playing a basketball game. They don't keep score. There's no winner or loser, but we are keeping score in our brain, right? And so what I want you to know is that your strengths are the best strengths. There's no better strengths than yours for you. So I want you to fall in love with your strengths, because if I've got to know what my strengths are, they're my favorite. I love these things about me. So you may have heard me say that one of my greatest gifts is to love people where they're at, but to see who they can become and to help encourage them to get exactly there. And so now that I've taken this assessment and know what my strengths are, it's like, oh, that makes total sense. So my belief strengths really comes down to my core values and those things that I hold dear. I have to be part of something larger than myself, something that's very mission driven, and I will never go against my core values. And so when you see me dig my heels in on things, I become kind of stubborn and immovable when it comes to those things, but my belief runs so deep. Maximizer, I love to take things that are good and make them great, which is when I meet with you and I see greatness in you, I want to take you to the next level. That's why I love to challenge you, so embrace that. So just know when you come meet me and I look you in the eye and say, okay, what's the next step? It's because I see in you where you can go. Futuristic, I love to be looking 10 steps ahead. To say, okay, what are we going to shift? Where can we go? And also to see what people can become. Arranger, this is me in class, right? Arrangers love to get things started. We get very frustrated if it stays stagnant for very long. We love to build a team of strength around us and be a part of that and continue to tweak things until they're perfect. And connectedness, that's why I love you so much, right? I know that we are all connected human beings, that we are here for a purpose. And I know that DōTERRA is here and heavenly guided for a larger purpose than what any one of us can understand. That's me, but I want to talk about you. So when we met with our Blue and Presidentials back in January, we had them take the strengths assessment. And we wanted to understand, it's like, are we going to notice anything different from them than what we see on a global scale with the assessments from Gallup, from the millions of people that have done this? And actually, we did see something just a little bit different. So when you look at this, you notice that in the global database, the influencing is actually the lowest of the 3 categories. And actually, in DōTERRA, with our Blue and Presidentials, that influencing strength was stronger than the national norm. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But we also have, when you look at those groups of people, you might say, well, how do they all compare, right? What if I don't have influencing? What if I don't have relationships? What if I'm not an executor? What if I'm not a strategic thinker? Well, you can see, right, 44 of our Blue Presidentials did not have an executing talent. 48 of them did not have an influencing talent. 35 did not have a relationship building talent. And 44 are not strategic thinking. Now, do you really think that these Blue and Presidentials aren't strategic, don't have relationships, aren't influencers, and can't execute? Absolutely not. They can do all of them, right, extremely well. And so don't think that because you don't have a strength in a particular category, that means you can't accomplish these things. That because you don't have any blues, it means that you're not good at building relationships, because that is absolutely not true. You get there through other means. It becomes who you are. So we also have, right, are you well-rounded? So 16 Blue Presidentials have 4 of their top strengths in one domain. Had a lot of people come to me saying, oh, I'm all yellow or I'm all blue, is that a problem? Isn't that amazing, right? Just like Jessica said, no, you're amongst really good company. And we also notice that amongst the fluid presidentials, every single strength was represented within their top 5 strengths. Every single one. I was sitting with our one-to-one account manager meeting. We had this big, tough guy, right? He's in the military, great big muscles, and he said, I'm kind of embarrassed about my top strength. And I said, well, what is it? He said, harmony. It's like, isn't that amazing? That is how you accomplish things. That's the pathway to least resistance, because you understand what everybody wants, and you're able to get them there, right, without resistance. It's a beautiful thing. Another tough guy over in the corner said, my top strength is empathy. He's like, I don't go around feeling sorry for people. No, isn't that amazing? Because you get to feel what others are feeling, and you get to help them accomplish those things that they most want to. You know, Natalie Goddard's top strength is empathy. I think she's been pretty successful having that empathy strength, right? So be proud of exactly where you are at. So now we have, let's see, this one. Okay, so you tell when I don't put my own slides together, I'm like, what is this? I'm not quite sure. So when they took the assessment based on the global ratings, that only 7.6% of the leaders actually fell within those categories. And so I find that completely unique as well. So you may have noticed on the first day that I didn't announce something. You may have said, is this going to happen? Did any of you notice that? What were you waiting for? Incentive trip. Does anybody like to go on incentive trips? Do you want to know where we're going to go for 2019? All right, we'll have a video and it'll tell you where we're going.
We're taking over the island.
location. The cobblestone streets is so much different than Cancun. I love Mexico. I love all parts of Mexico. But Puerto Vallarta is so beautiful, so amazing. And this particular destination has a private beach. There are no other properties nearby. We will have not only the entire property to ourselves, which was newly renovated. It is absolutely beautiful. Shelley just got back from a site visit, but you've got cliffs on either side. As you know, the water of Puerto Vallarta is so much different than what you'll find over on the Yucatan Peninsula. It's this beautiful turquoise blue. You get some bigger waves there in Oh, but it is just gorgeous. So we want all of you to come, and my desire is that we pay for you to go, right? We want to pay for your vacation. So it's all based upon enrollment and retention, right? We have this heavier weighted towards retention. So as you bring new people and invite them to a better way of living and a healthy lifestyle, and then you follow up with them and retain them, we give you points for LRP orders, not only in the enrollment order, but also the LRP order on months 2 and 3. So you can win, whether it's 6th place and you're winning a spot for 1, or we're going all the way up to grand prize where you can win a place for 2. Some of the categories have airfare included, some have excursions and spa treatments, you have different rooms, but you notice that they're all ocean view rooms. Yeah. So, yep, you're all going to have a view of that gorgeous, gorgeous ocean. So you can see here, based on enrollment, if it's a 100 to 249 PV order, you get 2 points for that. 250 to 499, 3 points. Anything over 500 PV enrollment order, you get 4 points. But then what I love is on the subsequent LRP months, is you get points for that. So you get equal points for their LRP order as well. So how do you earn the 125 points? How do you earn the trip, right? So we have several different formulas. I'm only going to show you one, so you can understand how simple this could truly be. So if you were to, and this is all based on personal enrollments, right? So if you were to personally enroll 21 people, and then you also get their points, this is an enrollment order that's just between the 100 and 249 PV, and you have 2 months of LRP after that with 100 PV, then that actually gives you enough points to win the 6th place trip. So it keeps it pretty simple, right? So we could give you lots of other formulas. There was even one where you could do it with 16 if they got higher number of kids. If they were all the lowest number without the LRP, and it was just enrollments and no LRP at all. I think it was 63 personal enrollments. So get them on LRP makes it a whole lot easier, right? We want you to do that. So how many of you plan to join us in DōTERRA? We love those events. So as we conclude this event, you can see that we've invested a lot into our greatest asset. You are our greatest asset. And I think, as you come to these events, sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating, right? If you're the silver in the back who's qualified for the very first time, let's hear from you silvers who are here for the first time. I could be like that. Or maybe even that silver or gold or maybe even diamond. You've been sitting at this place a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You're thinking, I ever gonna break through? I'm trying to rise, but it's just not working out for me. Right? As we go through those times. Did you notice when Gina Truman stood on the stage today? And did you notice the applause that came her way? She was in your spot. Right? She sat there as the greatest cheerleader in the world as she supported her team and she lifted them all up. And the reason you heard the loud cheers is because Gina Truman was one of the very first wellness advocates that ever joined DōTERRA. Dave Sterling and I went to her home and sat in her living room trying to convince her to believe in our little dream when we had nothing to show. She has tirelessly and selflessly given of herself to others and lifted others up. And finally, she realized realized that it was her time to rise up as well. So when she hit that rank of presidential diamond, after sitting here year after year saying, I'm ready to break free, that's why we all cheered. That's why we all celebrated. Your rank will never, ever define your worth. Your worth is what lives inside of you. And that's what we as wellness advocates in DōTERRA get to do, is we get to unlock that potential in people. We get to show them their true worth. And I am so excited about this Empowered You, because it is another vehicle, another tool that allows us to show ourselves and others how amazing they are. So I'm going to change the verbiage that Jessica used today. She said, we're all perfectly imperfect. I say we're all imperfectly perfect, just the way we are. So I'm a Wizard of Oz junkie. And there's a quote given here by Glinda.
This last week.
Right? Ever seen Wicked? Everyone like Wicked? I'm a Wicked fan. You've always had the power, my dear. You just had to learn it for yourself.
Yes.
So I challenge you as you leave today to recognize the power that is inside of you. Fall in love with your strengths and gifts that are divinely and uniquely yours and nobody else's. And use them to change the world in a way that only you can. I love you all. Bye-bye.